I was sitting at my cousin's rehearsal dinner when my mom raised her glass and said, "We always protect our family." Something about that felt wrong. My uncle leaned in and whispered, "You're still acting scared of me?" I froze. Because I had proof. And I was about to play it. That sentence kept echoing in my head, protect our family. Like it was something we'd always done. Like I hadn't spent years learning exactly how that protection actually worked. If you met Derek Lawson, you'd probably like him. Everyone did. He was the guy fixing broken drawers at my grandparents' house, carrying chairs before anyone asked, remembering birthdays without reminders. My mom always said he had a good heart. My grandparents trusted him with everything. That version of him existed. I'm not pretending it didn't. But there was another version. The one that only showed up when I was just out of reach of everyone else. It started when I was 13. Comments that didn't feel like jokes. The way he looked at me sometimes, like he was studying something. He'd say things about my body, about boys, about how fast I was growing up. If I reacted, he'd laugh and tell me to relax. If I pulled away, he'd act like I was accusing him of something. At a summer barbecue, I reached across the table and felt his hand slide across my lower back. Not quick. Not accidental. Just enough to make me stop breathing for a second. When I moved away, he laughed like I'd done something funny. That night, I told my mom. I remember the kitchen floor was cold under my feet. I remember trying to explain something I didn't even have words for yet. She didn't even let me finish. She just sighed and said, "Derek jokes too much, but he would never do anything to you." That sentence stayed with me longer than anything he ever said. Because after that, every time he got too close, it wasn't just him. It was the knowledge that if I spoke up, I'd be the one causing a problem. So I adjusted. I stayed near groups. I avoided being alone with him. I started wearing oversized clothes because he commented less when I did. My dad said I was getting moody. Rachel told me to stop acting weird around Derek because it made things awkward. Nobody asked why I was acting different. When I was 16, he cornered me in the laundry room at my grandparents' house during Thanksgiving. He didn't touch me at first. He just stood in the doorway, close enough that I had to brush past him to leave. He tucked a piece of my hair behind my ear and said, quiet, almost amused, "If you weren't family, you'd be dangerous." Something in my chest dropped. I shoved past him, locked myself in the bathroom, and stayed there until Emily knocked and said dessert was out like nothing had happened. That time, I told Rachel. I really thought she'd understand. She just stared at me and asked if I was sure I wasn't misreading him. Said he flirted with everyone. Said maybe he was trying to make me feel grown up. Then she got frustrated. Not at him. At me. Because accusations like that could ruin the family. That phrase followed me for years. Ruin the family. Like the family was something fragile I was responsible for protecting, even if I was the one getting hurt. By the time I left for college, I had rules. Never be alone with him. Never get in a car with him. Never stay somewhere overnight if he might be there. It felt ridiculous building my life around one person, but it worked well enough. Distance helped. Until it didn't. When Emily got engaged, everything came back. Dinners, planning, celebrations. And Derek was always there, like nothing had ever been wrong. At her engagement party, I was standing near the patio, texting, trying to stay invisible. He came up behind me, close enough that I could feel him before he spoke. "Still pretending you hate me," he said. I stepped away. He followed. Still smiling, like we were joking. He asked if I had a boyfriend. Said he hoped the guy appreciated what he had. I told him to stop talking to me like that. He leaned in slightly and said, "Then stop giving me that look." I wasn't giving him anything. I was just tired. Tired of managing him. Tired of feeling like I was the one who had to keep everything from falling apart. That night, I told Emily. Not everything. Just enough to make it clear I didn't want him near me during the wedding events. She listened. She nodded. She said she believed me. Then she asked if I could just keep my distance until after the wedding. There was already enough stress. That was the moment something in me settled. Not anger. Not panic. Just clarity. No one was going to fix this. They didn't want the truth. They wanted things to stay comfortable. So I stopped trying to convince them. A few weeks later, I bought 2 small audio recorders. I checked the laws first. One-party consent. I wasn't trying to catch him constantly. Just when I knew he was about to cross that line again. Because he always did. The first couple recordings were useless. Too much noise. Nothing clear. But at my grandparents' anniversary dinner, I got one. You can hear me say, "Don't touch me." You can hear him laugh. Then you hear him say, "You act like you don't like it, but you never say anything where it counts." I sat in my car afterward and listened to it over and over. It wasn't just what he said. It was how certain he sounded. Like he knew nothing would ever happen to him. After that, I kept going. More comments. More moments. On one recording, when I told him I'd scream if he touched me again, he said, "And tell them what?" That I complimented you. That's when I stopped thinking about whether people would believe me. I started thinking about when they wouldn't be able to ignore it. The rehearsal dinner was in a private room at a restaurant in Tulsa. Everyone was there. My parents, Rachel, my grandparents, Emily, Derek. It felt normal. Warm. Like every other family gathering we'd ever had. Halfway through dessert, my mom stood up and raised her glass. She smiled and said how lucky we were. How we always protected each other. How family was everything. I laughed. I didn't mean to. It just came out. Everyone looked at me. And I said, that's not true. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone, but once I started, I couldn't stop. I told them I'd been trying to say this for years. That Derek made me uncomfortable. That nobody listened. My mom went pale. Derek did exactly what I expected, calm, confused, like I was overreacting. Then I played the recordings. Not all of them. Just enough. The room went silent in a way I can't really describe. My grandfather looked like he might be sick. Emily started crying. My dad kept asking what he was hearing. Rachel wouldn't even look at me. Derek denied it, then said it was jokes, then got angry and said I was sick for recording him. The part that surprised me wasn't him. It was my mom. She started crying, asking why I would do this here. Why I would humiliate the family. Why I didn't come to her privately. I looked at her and said I did. Nobody said anything after that. The fallout wasn't clean. It never is. Derek was uninvited from the wedding. My grandparents stopped talking to him. My dad moved out for a while because apparently realizing your wife ignored something like that changes how you see everything. Rachel sent me a long message about how I handled it. Then another one later saying she couldn't stop replaying what she heard. Derek tried calling me from different numbers. I blocked everything. One voicemail crossed a line, so I filed for a protective order. That finally made him stop. It's been a while now. The family is split. Some people think I did what I had to. Some think I went too far. Some still act like I created the problem by forcing it into the open. Things are quieter now. Smaller. I don't go to most family gatherings. My apartment in Broken Arrow feels like the first place I've ever been able to breathe. And this is the part one don't know how to say without sounding colder than I mean to. I don't regret doing it publicly. I regret that it had to be public for anyone to finally listen. I regret how long I spent trying to be believable enough for people who didn't want to believe me in the first place. I regret how much of myself I reshaped just to keep things calm. But I don't regret that moment. Because for once, it wasn't just me holding it anymore. For once, they all had to sit in it. They had to hear it. They had to feel how real it was. And maybe the worst truth is, part of me wanted that. Not just safety. Witnesses. Now it's over. He's gone. The family isn't the same. Maybe it never will be. But for the first time in my life, I'm not shrinking to make everyone else comfortable. And I still don't know if what I did was justice, or just the only way I knew how to finally be heard.